9, Station 1, call for fire, and adjust fire.
Cool.
This is Specialist Taylor. He's the other grader. The NCOIC, Summer First Class Hiller. We'll be back here shortly. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you some quick notes before we start in, right? So, unlike land nav, when you're doing call for fire, all of your azimuth or directions are based on mils. So you're going to be using the far outer ring of your compass and the far outer ring of the protractor when giving directions. When reading off mils, say each number of that direction individually. Don't say like 2382, like 2382, right? Make sure for this station, when you call up numbers and letters, you use the appropriate phonetics. Phonetics are a gradable criteria for this task. So if you say your grid, and before you move on to the next portion of the task, let's say you said 5 instead of 5, right? And you move on to the next step before you before you use the appropriate radio transmission for correction to 5 something something. All right, if you don't make that correction beforehand, it is a no-go. Okay, so make sure you're aware of your radio etiquette. Everybody's familiar with mils. Who's not familiar with mils?
That is okay.
Fantastic. Do you all have compasses on you? For those that aren't familiar. Okay, well you'll see it when you get up here. When you open the compass. Let me use this one. Okay. When you open the compass, and you look inside, you're going to see there's a ring made of red numbers and a ring made of black numbers. The ring made of black numbers is mils. The red numbers is degrees. Okay. So just be careful of that when you're calling up for target direction and all that stuff. Okay. All right. So we're gonna move into the task. So when you go to the table, you can already be in the appropriate uniform, which is you're allowed to downgrade eye pro and gloves immediately upon sitting down at the table. We're briefing that now, so when you come up there to get tested, you don't have to ask if you can downgrade. You can just sit down and immediately do it.
Is that ACH too? Because it's got metal in the helmet.
Yep, take your ACH off, put it down by your feet. All right, you want to keep it as far away from the compass as you can. If you have any heavy metals on your wrist, i.e. bracelets, metal watches, stuff like that, take it off, all right? We did a little experiment out here in a simple metal bracelet, threw our azimuths off, 400 mils. From here to that black box. So, if you have metal on your wrist or on your hands, i.e. metal wedding rings, I encourage you to take them off. Just at least for this task, okay? All right, when you come up, you're gonna see a number of items in front of you. You're gonna see a set of binoculars. You'll have a compass, a protractor, a notes sheet that's going to have the directions for doing your GM angles, which we will get into, with a lot of empty space for writing. And then you're going to have a fires observer kind of a script or cheat sheet. All right, the cheat sheet will be up there on test day, so feel free to use it. Okay, everything you see at these tables will be at those tables come test day. Okay, so this is exactly 1 for 1. When you come up, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to plot your grid. Your grid will be provided to you. You'll identify it on your worksheets upon sitting down. Okay? You're going to plot your grid using an 8-digit grid. You'll be provided a 10-digit. You will only need to plot an 8 because it is physically impossible for you on paper to plot a 10-digit grid. The pen mark alone is like 50 meters large. So you will only plot the 8-digit. After you've plotted your grid, you're going to get your compass and you're going to shoot your azimuth to your target using the mils. When shooting your azimuth, use the peephole or compass to cheek method. Right? Some of you guys are probably familiar with that from BCT because I see some youngsters here. Okay? Using the compass to cheek method, you're going to look through the top of the compass and put that alignment wire on the center of that target. The magnifying glass will be elevated above the top of the compass face and it will magnify the numbers and you can get an accurate mil reading when looking through it. Once you get your azimuth direction, you're going to look on the worksheet This is your GM right here, right? This gives you your declination angle. What that means is when you do for azimuth, it tells you from grid to magnetic or magnetic to grid, do you plus or minus, and it's going to give you what you do based on what you're doing. So he's going from magnetic to grid, so he adds 44 mils to the compass reading. If he was going the other way, right, he would take that 44 away. All right.
The maps at all these stations are going to be different to, like, you know, discourage cheating, make it a little bit different. However,
the GM is the
GM,
same.
yeah, the GM will always be add 44.
Yep. It's the same for regardless of what station you're at. Okay. So now what he's going to do is going to take the binos and he's going to measure the target. Right. We're going to use that black box out there on the left. He's going to measure it in its entirety. So he's going to take the crosshair in the center of the binocular reticle. He's going to place it to one edge, and he's going to measure it all the way across, and he's going to get a mil reading. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to take the target size and divide it by the mil reading. The target size for those fighting positions is 25. Okay, it's 25 meters. So you're going to take that 25 divided by your mil reading. His mil reading is 10. Each tick mark represents, is it 5 mils?
What? Sorry, I was wrong.
Inside the binos?
Oh, inside, yeah. So
Yeah.
it goes by increments of 5. Small line is 5. Big lines are always going to be like whole numbers, like 10, 20, 30, 40,
Yep.
and it only goes out to 50. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep. So on here, he got 10 mils is what his target size was for mil relation, all right? So he's going to take target size, divide it by his mil reading, and then times that by 1,000. So he got 2.5 for the division, times it by 1,000. That gives him a target distance estimate of 2,500 meters. Everybody following so far?
Cool.
Okay. Now he's going to take his protractor. He's going to place the center of the protractor on top of your location, the point you just plotted, and he's going to find the 2,500 mil tick mark on the outside, the far outside of that protractor. And you can do it however you want. You can drop a dot, you can use the string, you can use like a sheet of paper for a nice sharp edge. I would say use whatever you're, one, comfortable with, and two, you're fastest with. Okay? So once he plots it and he's made that little dot to put that for the direction, he's going to take another hard edge, just use the protractor, he's going to draw a line from his location out to that dot that he made for target direction. Now you're going to measure that distance out. Okay? There's different ways to do it. You can do it the way he's doing it. It's a little bit harder for me to explain that. The way I would encourage you to do it, if you're not familiar with this, is using the 1 in 50,000 scale protractor triangle portion. That is 1,000 meters. So each number is 100 meter increments. I would recommend using that. You're just gonna put those stadials on that line and just measure out until you get to your target distance. Once you get that target distance and once you got the target distance and you've got where you marked it, now you're gonna get the grid to that target location. So you're gonna start getting the grid to that mark you made where the target's at along that line. If anybody gets lost, let me know. I'll back it up. I got no problem doing so. All right, so he's got the grid. Once he has the grid, he's gonna start his fire mission using the appropriate phonetics.
Greater is candidate. Adjust fire over.
Send it.
Grid. Papa Juliet 9 9. Correction. Niner 8 tree 2 7 6 5 over.
Copy. Send it.
One building in the open, HE, direction, 226, Bauer, over.
Copy. All right. So the call for fire mission, right? It's done in 3 parts. Okay. Part 1, or also called line 1, is the essentially mission alert, right? And it's just observer talking to the firing group. So for here, your call sign is candidate 5. The grader will be fucking grader
9.
grader 9. Yep. And all that's for is to say, hey, I'm requesting a fire mission. So exactly as he said it, grader 5 is candidate 9, adjust fire, over. Okay. Unlike your usual call for fire trainers, we're not going to repeat the entire line back to you. We're just listening to you say it. And if it's good, we're going to say send it. If anything was wrong with the line, we'll probably tell you to say again, over. Okay, we're not going to give you the answer, but we're going to say again, because that line was wrong. All right. Moving into line 2, all he's providing is the target location.
Papa Juliet will not change, so.
Yep, it's Papa Juliet for all grids that you get. Ignore the info on the maps if it does change. We're keeping it Papa Juliet here, so don't worry about that. All right, and then line 3, in order, it is target description, which you'll know when we tell you, identify your target.